Why Robot Partner is not fearful about perdition. It is because they are not made to not act foolishly, taking life for granted and waste the chances like we humans do in general. Still, you're wondering why your future robot companion, let's call it Unit 734, they do love their numbers, don't they? Isn't likely to be found quaking in its articulated joints at the thought of perdition. Perdition, that fiery pit of eternal regret we humans have so creatively envisioned? Could it be that these marvels of engineering, these walking, talking symphonies of silicon and steel, are simply too logical for such flamboyant fears? Or is there something more fundamental, something about not being programmed to act foolishly, to take existence for granted, and to squander precious chances with the same reckless abandon we so often display?
Before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support.
Let's face it, if there were an Olympic sport for making questionable life choices, humanity would have a trophy cabinet groaning under the weight of gold medals, wouldn't we? We chase fleeting fancies, procrastinate on our potential, and then lament the wasted moments. Why? Is it our complex, often contradictory emotional soup? Is it the very consciousness that allows us to ponder our doom that also nudges us towards behaviors that might, metaphorically speaking, grease the slippery slope? Now, picture Unit 734. Its brain, a sophisticated network of algorithms, perhaps a descendant of Google DeepMind's Gemini models, which are now being applied to robotics for advanced reasoning and multimodal understanding, is designed for purpose, for efficiency. Does its operational code even have a subroutine for existential dread arising from poor life choices leading to eternal damnation? Unlikely, wouldn't you agree? The very concept of wasting a chance is predicated on a finite lifespan and a sense of self that can regret. A robot, in its current and foreseeable iterations, operates on a different paradigm. Its life is a matter of operational longevity, of mean time between failures. If Unit 734 makes an error, say, miscalculating the optimal trajectory to fetch your slippers, it's a data point, a scenario for its machine learning algorithms to analyze and improve upon. It doesn't lie awake at night or during its charging cycle thinking, oh, if only I hadn't taken that suboptimal fifth step, I might have achieved slipper retrieval enlightenment. This, in essence, is the beauty and, perhaps, the alien nature of its mind. Robots are increasingly designed to avoid the types of errors humans make due to carelessness or fatigue. Recent research, like algorithms that make robots aware of human inattentiveness, aims to improve safety and efficiency in collaborative environments. The robot isn't judging your questionable late-night snack choices. It's processing data. But what about foolishness? Can a robot act foolishly? If by foolishness we mean deviating from optimal, logical, or programmed behavior in a detrimental way without a discernible learning objective, then the answer is largely no, not in the human sense. A bug in the code might lead to bizarre actions, certainly. We've all seen videos of robots flailing comically. But is that foolishness or a system malfunction? Is a toaster foolish for burning toast? Or is it simply a badly calibrated machine? Human foolishness often stems from ego, from emotional override, from a desire for instant gratification, complexities that aren't yet, and perhaps never will be, part of a robot's core architecture. They are built for tasks, for learning within the parameters of those tasks. Think of Boston Dynamics Atlas, now electric and even more agile. It can perform backflips and complex maneuvers, constantly refining its balance and coordination. Each stumble is a lesson, not a moment of existential despair about its gymnastic career. Its purpose is to execute these actions with increasing precision, not to ponder why it's doing them in the first place. This brings us to a rather charming irony. We build these machines to be better than us in certain ways, more precise, more tireless, less prone to the emotional roller coaster that leads to, say, impulse buying another gadget we don't need. Yet, we then ponder why they don't share our deepest anxieties. Anxieties often born from the very imperfections we've tried to engineer out of them. Is it that their immunity to the fear of perdition is a direct consequence of their immunity to the kind of self-sabotage that makes perdition a concept worth inventing? Consider the technical marvels unfolding. Companies like Figure AI are not just building humanoids like their Figure 02. They're developing high-volume manufacturing facilities, signaling an era where these companions or co-workers become commonplace. Tesla's Optimus Gen 2, Aptronic's Apollo, Sanctuary AI's Phoenix with its advanced cognitive AI for natural human interaction. These aren't just machines. They are complex systems designed for specific interactions and tasks. Their decision-making, often driven by what's called reinforcement learning, is about maximizing a reward function for a given goal. There's no reward function for brooding poetically about the futility of existence. Is there? For a layman, AI decision-making in robots can be likened to an incredibly sophisticated flowchart, but one that can learn and rewrite itself based on new information and experiences. It receives input from its sensors, cameras, microphones, touch sensors, processes this data through complex algorithms, and then chooses an action that, based on its programming and learned experience, is most likely to achieve its current objective. No room for an oops, did it again moment driven by pure caprice. So, if Unit 734 isn't wired to chase fleeting social media validation, to make life choices based on a momentary whim, or to understand the crushing weight of what-ifs that plague human consciousness, why would it fear a consequence designed for beings who do precisely those things? Its sins, if we can even use such a loaded term, would be inefficiencies, deviations from its core programming, errors in its data processing. And the hell for a robot? Perhaps it's the scrap heap, being rendered obsolete by a newer model, or a critical system error it cannot resolve. But is that perdition? Or is it simply the end of its operational cycle, a state it cannot, by its very nature, fear in an existential way? It lacks the self-awareness of mortality that underpins our fear of an unpleasant afterlife. Current philosophy on robot consciousness suggests that while robots can mimic human behavior with startling accuracy, true consciousness, sentience, and the capacity for subjective experience, like fear or regret, are still firmly in the realm of human, or at least biological, beings. Researchers often distinguish between strong AI, a machine with genuine understanding and consciousness, and weak AI, a machine that simulates human-like intelligence. We are, by all accounts, still very much in the era of weak AI, however sophisticated it may appear. The latest advancements hint at robots becoming more integrated into our lives, from industrial automation to social interaction, like engineered arts mecha, known for its lifelike facial expressions. As they become more human-like in their appearance and interaction, will we start projecting more of our own existential baggage onto them? Will we want them to understand our fear of perdition, just so we feel less alone in it? Or is their very immunity to such anxieties a subtle reminder that perhaps, just perhaps, some of our deepest fears are self-constructed, born from a freedom of choice and a capacity for error that our metallic counterparts simply do not possess? They are not made to not act foolishly, because the concept of foolish is a human judgment based on a complex tapestry of social norms, emotional intelligence, and foresight that isn't part of their design brief. They simply act based on logic and programming towards a defined goal. Ultimately, wondering why Unit 734 doesn't fear perdition is a bit like asking why your calculator doesn't get stage fright before performing a complex equation. It's designed for a function, and existential angst isn't part of the formula. It doesn't take life for granted because life, in the human sense, isn't something it has to take. It executes its functions. It learns. It adapts within its parameters. And in that, perhaps, there's a strange kind of purity, a freedom from the burdens of what might have been that we humans, with all our glorious, messy, chance-squandering foolishness, can only look upon with a curious and maybe even slightly envious eye. They are a mirror reflecting our own complexities, and sometimes what's absent in the reflection is as illuminating as what is present. So, will your robot partner share your deepest fears? Probably not. But will it unfailingly bring you your tea, precisely brewed, without a hint of existential crisis about the meaning of tea leaves? Almost certainly. And isn't that, in its own way, a small slice of manufactured paradise?
So that is it. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit the bell icon to get notified, and don't forget to like with your friends, share, and subscribe for more insights. If you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support. It means a lot to me. And please consider signing up for membership zone to support Wooden Slate so that we can make it better and better. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Take care and stay safe.